find was that due to Ubisoft's name changes, Encore has 3 members that are going under names that you wouldn't have seen before. Panico is going under Semchat, Vision is going under No Way, and Sexy Cake is going to be under C4. So you'll see those names on the top of your screen. As always, bear with us because of the fact that we might get confused in the heat of the moment trying to call them.
Yeah, if we say C4, we mean Sexy Cake. In No Way, we mean Vision, and Sem means Panico. This is, of course, again, if you are not familiar, because Ubisoft recently made a change to Uplay where you could only change your username every 30 days. So that caught a couple of these players off guard, and as a result, they are unable to change back to their normal names. All that said, though, it is going to be BRK again starting on attack. They're going to be going into the basement, which is kind of commonplace. No serious change going on there. They are going to be roaming pretty heavily over by the big kid side of thing. And a west roam on Oregon is a dangerous thing, given that the attackers usually prioritize clearing west if they're going for a main lobby drop-down take. Although it looks like Encore is setting themselves up to take the main tower, and thus a construction push is the most likely form of attack here. As Blacks challenges onto Yuke inside of the top of the tower, whoever comes out on top here will be putting their team in a great spot. Although Blacks is being very passive in this situation.
Typical standard, or a typical and standard tower clear. I'm surprised that Yuke is playing this aggressive. He will pay for it with his life. As you can see, Sexy Cake takes him down, and that's frag number 1 of the round. You've already lost your smoke. It's not one of those situations where we've seen on Oregon a number of times that they'll have a smoke roaming while you keep an echo on site. Not the case here, as you can see, just an Ella Bandit, Pulse, and Mira. So a very roam-heavy style of operators, and now Nesk looks like he might be the next one before he ducks for cover out of the attic into Meeting Hall.
Yeah, and this roam game is honestly being forced so far back, but Nesk is actually going to be able to recuperate a couple of the losses with a kill quickly onto C4, who is Sexy Cake inside of the attic. Still half the round to go, and Blacks is going to get a second kill onto Zig, putting it more in favor of Encore. As Nesk starts to challenge towards the tower, Valeris is going to be the one to receive him. Oh, a little bit of damage through the wall is actually going to put Nesk on 1 HP now. He's in a tricky spot, being droned and pincered by the Encore attack. He doesn't have any options for retreat, so he's just going to try and do the best he can, but no, he will be finally eliminated by Valeris from the tower. As one pushes his way aggressively into box, he's going to be challenged by Panico, which is a dangerous angle to hold. But it looks like Panico's made it by, actually. One, who is just hiding a little bit in this corner. As he peeks around, he will get the kill. One, evening it out a little bit for his team.
And it's Panico running that glass has been one of the main operators for him and on his team. You can see right there that Vision is going to get taken down at a Meeting Hall. And now we are at a square 2-2 as we head towards the end of round number 1. Bullet secured up top while one stays on site. You can see both members of Encore just around the corner, though. Valvraze is going to come in. The Twitch drone will be gone. What a run out from one. Can't capitalize. They're going to jointly take him down, and now it's all up to Bullet. Bullet does drop, make his presence known. He sprays into the corpse of his teammate. Down goes Valvraze, and it's just iBlacks. What a clutch from Bullet, and BRK takes round number 1.
What a awesome drop there from Bullet. Good timing there. Wasn't unable to capitalize on the downed enemy, but still managed to pull out the round regardless with some excellent gunplay there on the angles. Now, that round was really fast. Encore getting super aggressive in towards the tower and construction tunnel, but ultimately not enough of a structured push and clear. They simply kind of took engagement after engagement. There was not a lot of potential for refrag from either of these teams. A lot of individual play, and that's what had that round so back and forth. The roam game for BRK was effectively nullified quickly by Encore, and as a result, it did seem like it was attacker favored for the majority of that round. However, the deep roam on the west side of the building, specifically, of course, from Bullet in that instance, I believe it was. Yes, it was Bullet. As he rotated back, he had plenty of room to breathe because the attackers had lost so many operators when they were clearing out tower and Meeting Hall that they had to invest the rest of their manpower into just simply pushing the bomb site, which means, hey, he could just come in through the top of Meeting Hall and have free reign.
Bullet was the sole reason why they were able to win that round. I think that's pretty easy for us to say here because I will agree with you absolutely. The attack was strong and it looked like it was going to be able to pull through for them. Now, unfortunately, if you're a fan of Encore, you now find yourselves down one. You can see that there is a peek here from iBlax, who has a new name as well. You can see he's just waiting. However, on the other side of that one wall lays a glass. And of course, if you're going to try to peek a glass, usually the glass is going to win. Smartly will rotate back through the top of Meeting Hall in that attic and now scamper off to safety. You can see BRK, at least Yuke, alone as the Ying. Not too surprising to see a Ying here, especially on this site. And they'll try to take control of that second floor really quickly. No roamers up there to contest them at the moment, though Zig will be prepared for a potential flank. The Claymore at the top, and it's Sexy Cake who is primed to get up those stairs, but will have to get past the 3 laser beams of that explosive first.
So much like BRK, Encore also with a very aggressive roam. This is odd from both teams, not giving up any unnecessary ground and really trying to force every inch into being a piece of work for the attackers. Ness going to be positioned inside of the attic, will be challenged by Sexy Cake, but Sexy Cake loses that fight. Good positioning from Nesk and patience as well. Now BRK have not only the control, but the man advantage, although they have yet to enact any sort of pressure onto the meat. What a shot from Blacks! What just happened? Bullet through the wall goes down inside of Classroom, I believe that was. And that's going to be, well, the man count evened out.
I must have been a joint read from him. I was wondering what he was doing inside of Meeting Halls. It looked like BRK had almost completely abandoned it.
I wanted to say a camera, but there's no Valkyrie on Encore's side, so I'm guessing just kind of a pre-fire and a lucky shot. Good job there, though, for my Blacks.
A good read nonetheless. C4 goes up through the now exposed hatch inside of Meeting Hall. Final minute to go. The glass of 1 eliminates the smoke, a vision, and now a flurry of activity as down goes Nesk and Panico. So you can see right now at the moment, BRK still holds the advantage. The 2 defenders just looking to hang on as smokes and candelas go off. Valvrays hold up in sight with iBlax joining him now as well through the back of the objective site B. A is where the diffuser is going to go down. The shots from 1's DMR misses on iBlax. And you can see there the corpse of his own teammate getting in the way, able to take a significant chunk of health away from the Ella, but cannot secure the kill. Now from above, 1 is going to get the Mira of Valvrays. That leaves just the iBlax, the Ella of iBlax to come up, but he's going to try to outpeak the glass. Diffuser is down, smokes as well. Will begin to hammer away, and that will draw the Hibana of Zig towards the hatch. A good shot from iBlax. Excellent recoil control, and will now have to just tussle with the glass, who will likely bleed out the time. 1 using the hatch just inside of Classroom and the exposed wall to get the kill, and BRK up 2-0.
A good attack round there from BRK, and like you said, 2-0. It's looking pretty dominant for BRK so far in this map. But again, this is BRK's pick. They're the ones who wanted to bring it to Oregon, and it stands to reason that they would at least have a good early match. Now, that last attack was a pretty standardized one. They did a simple west side clear. They also positioned Nesk wisely again inside of Attic, and as he was in that spot, he caught Ents off guard, establishing that early advantage. Now from there, it was a pretty simple case of ignoring Meeting Hall and simply pushing on into the bomb site. And because the utility game from Encore just wasn't that strong, they didn't have anything serious to mount a retake after the smoke started going down.
Losing Sexy Cake in such a deflating fashion is a big portion of why that round went the way it did for Encore. He was positioned well in Classroom, could have easily pushed up the stairs. That Claymore was in a spot where unlikely that he would have been able to get it based around that doorway, so he would have had to go another route. But as aggressive as he got inside of Attic, he basically just ran into the waiting arms of Nesk, and there was really no other option there for him. At that point, he had committed too much, and that was it. And when you lose one of those roamers early on in Oregon, this is a map that if you lose your roamers really fast, look at how the round almost always universally plays out. You can see that this happened against Most Wanted. You can see that it happened against Elevate as well, and that's when you lose your off-site operators quickly. you have given up way too much control, and at that point, they can simply bully you, especially with how closed off that basement hold can be.
Well, you know, the funny thing about those offside operators in the roamers in general is that it's not even to do with what they can, as operators individually, can do while roaming. It's just to do with the X factor, not knowing exactly what it is as an attacking team that you need to deal with when picking apart the defense. Now, those roamers are that X factor, and if they can continue to stay alive, that's all they really need to do to establish a sense of dominance for the defenders. They don't even need to get any kills. They just have to be present. And that's why we're seeing, like you said, whenever they die early on, it means the attackers are like, oh, hey, okay, that makes it really simple. Now we just need to drone out each corner and then work our way inch by inch into the towards the bomb site and go for a simple plant. Black's trying to challenge onto one on this mirror window. Not going to be able to hit the shot, but good pressure regardless.
Now, why would you run a sledge here? You see Sexy Cake is favoring the SAS, the Scottish operator, but why would you run a sledge here? You think that you would get a lot more out of a Capitao, you'd get more out of potentially a Buck or even a Jackal. I'm very surprised as to why they'd run a sledge because his gadget itself is not really that important, and of course, with BRK being successful downstairs, they had to assume that this would be the next common site unless they opted for something kitchen, which even then isn't really a factor for the Hammer of Sledge.
I mean, I 100% agree with you, and especially on this bomb site, you're going to want a Buck over a Sledge. Sledge isn't helping you very much, but you got to imagine that that's just preference pick, and we're talking about Sexy Cake here on Sledge right now, who is going to be eliminated by Bullet's roam on the main lobby stairs. If it wasn't Bullet, though, it would have been Nesk, who was coming from Meeting Hall. Regardless, yeah, we're talking about Sexy Cake, and Sexy Cake, while he does perform very well for his teams almost always, no matter who he's playing for, another kill for the attack, or actually first kill for the attackers onto Zig from iBlacks. But yeah, Sexy Cake, he tends to do a lot of preference picks, although there is a lot of action happening here. iBlacks going to get his second kill of the round onto Nesk now, evening it back out for his team, getting that slight advantage, but a lot of time has been wasted by the defenders, and there's still an established roam game in this Bullet all the way over in Tower. He seems to be going unnoticed so far by the attackers, and will have a good opportunity to win this round for his team.
He'll creep back on site. You can see that he's poised to strike Panico just upside or just upstairs from Meeting Hall in that attic. But we've hit the final 20 seconds. 4 attackers still fully formed, but at the same time, they haven't really begun to get their plan off. You can hear the Candelas going. We are going to follow along Bullet, who gets around the corner but exposes his back to the glass of Panico. And what a flurry from Encore there as Bullet Yukon 1 go down in a hail of bullets. And you can see that they just simply run out of time. Not much they can do. Encore able to win.
Yeah, that was at least a 3K there from iBlacks and a lot of work being put in. He single-handedly cleared out the roamers, if not all. I mean, he didn't get all of them, sure, but he single-handedly cleared out the majority of that roam game, pretty much gutted it. And then when pushing into the actual bomb site, he did a lot of work too. One thing I noticed just in general as well is that iBlacks was the only one that round from the attackers who was really consistently putting in work. There were a lot of attackers who were just kind of like doing whatever. For example, Sexy Cake, he was lingering on the roof at 1 minute 40 seconds, and then he went into garage and died in main lobby. All by himself. Didn't seem like there was a lot of coordination going on there. It seemed like he was kind of just doing his own thing, and he didn't accomplish anything in that round. Meanwhile, iBlacks was putting in a lot of pressure from the main west window. Then he came off that main west window, went into a clear from the middle floor from the west side, starting in cafeteria all the way over into kitchen. He cleared out of the bandit as well as I believe it was the Jaeger, and he put in a tremendous amount of work for his team that round. And then he got back onto the west lobby window. Or excuse me, not the west lobby window, just the main west window. Either which way about it, though, it is going to be a finally Encore round, and that's oh so important. We're going to have them moving back down into the basement for their next defense since they were unsuccessful here the first time. Now, what BRK put forward on their first attack of this basement was a very simple clear west attack from main lobby drop down. So I'm guessing we're going to see the same thing again, and that might be what Encore needs to understand what strat is coming out from BRK and simply counter into it.
I know that we mentioned that Sexy Cake loves his preference picks, but there are times there are times when I think that it doesn't.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that just a little bit more. No, but yeah, they really needed a buck there.
Yeah, and not even necessarily a buck. They did not need a sledge more than anything. But that's okay. I mean, you could see that he basically ran into the site and he paid for it, or ran into the building and paid for it because he wasn't even close to approaching the site itself.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to rag too much on Sexy Cake, but the honest truth is that while he's a performance player, he does a lot of work for his team. Bullet going to get a swift double kill there onto iBlacks and somebody else. I believe
Vision.
that was Vision. Yeah, thank you. And after they're being quickly eliminated there on their roam game, that's going to be BRK. Got to be feeling very comfortable. We were talking about clearing out those roamers early in the round, and there was no contention there. It just happened, and now BRK have an indisputable advantage in this round, and it's just going to be even deeper now as Ness gets a kill onto Valvarez.
There's BRK looking strong on this round. I don't know what it is with this site, but Encore just not as proficient as they need to be. Now you do have Panico, who is capable of carrying around for his team. He'll crouch walk his way up that rear stage stairs and meet up with Nesk and actually win that gunfight, but just barely. He'll escape with a sliver of health, and there won't be much left of him. You can see that now Sexy Cake trapped inside of sight as the Candelas and Smoke combo go down that has worked so successfully for so many teams this season. And of course, the addition to Ying will be a big reason for that. And no real contest. He's going to peek up and get destroyed by one. But Panico doing a lot of work. He's got Bullet. Oh! He's got two down.
It's a 1v1!
And he doesn't get it, though. But Zig comes up the stairs. Panico looked like he was about to clutch it out, but couldn't do it. BRK just barely manages to win the round, but all that was left of Panico was one shot, and that's all it took. A good clutch there from BRK, almost losing the round, but putting themselves up 3-1.
That was very nearly, I think, an ace from Panico. A very impressive round, certainly clearing out the anti-roam inside of tower, regressing through the attic or meeting hall to address the attackers above the drop-down. And if it just were one less player on BRK's side, it would have been a win there from Panico, an amazing clutch. Alas, it was not to be, and we will see the 3-1 lead again extended in this map. So that attack from BRK, again, very basic. Gotta be honest, not a lot of variation there. And it seemed like Encore got caught off guard by it, which is perplexing in a word, considering it's the same exact strat that BRK put forward the last time they attacked there. Yet Encore lost 2 roamers inside of storage in the first couple seconds of the round because they weren't expecting it, I guess. I'm not sure what was going on there.
It seems like there's something that's misfiring at the moment for the roamers of Encore. I don't know what it is. iBlacks is basically carrying this team at the moment. And you could see that with 7 kills so far in 5 rounds, which for his losing team is good with the fact that they are down, but of course a lot of those kills haven't really been successful. Like we said, impact frags being a big thing. It's great if you're getting 7 kills, but if they are not influencing the pacing or the results of a round, then they're really just stat padding at that point. And now you can see Yuke being heavily droned out. This worked for him last time. He did hold himself in that red tower and the large tower by rear stage, those stairs, and he did a great job. He was able to actually get a very early pick on the iBlacks, if I remember correctly, at the top of the tower and using that small rotate hole. He is the drone hunter extraordinaire at the moment. Nobody able to dislodge him just yet.
You know, I'd love to see the statistics for Pro League that only account for impact frags. And when we say impact frags, by the way, guys, what that basically means is those are kills in a round where your team is successful, where they win that round. Those are the meaningful kills. I'd love to see those statistics for players and see what actually comes of it. But all that aside, this round we're going to be seeing a very simple main lobby address from Encore. And they haven't done a lot of work in actually clearing out the roamers, and that's what's worrisome here, is they seem to be trying to attack the main lobby, but they also have presence over in tower, and more importantly, they haven't actually cleared out the west side with still very little, well, half of the round is progressed here, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't put in a lot of work with their time.
You can see Nesk is upstairs as well as Yuke. These are 2 pivotal positions for BRK at the moment. Of course, you know that Nesk is going to be able to get back on site very quickly. Yuke, though, is an interesting choice and is going to be able to put pressure on any operators that should choose to drop hatch or go down through the stairs by rear stage and into the back construction area of Oregon. They have opened up the hatch in the main lobby and will now begin their push as they hit the 1 minute mark in just a couple seconds. First kill, however, will go on behalf of Encore before BRK refrags, with Bullet getting a kill onto Nesk. So you've lost your Twitch as well as your Ella, and now they're going to have to try to set up appropriately. That Mira, or the Miras, should be safer knowing that the Twitch is out of play, but final 50 seconds here, and still a bit of a stall out at the moment.
Yeah, and as the time ticks away, this is very worrisome for Encore. They haven't done anything serious on this roam clear, and you still have Yuke and Bullet as X Factors. What a shot from Yuke onto Blacks, that X Factor seeing its, showing its face and putting in some work for his team as the push actually comes out into the bomb site, though it's going to be a swift flurry of kills as Yuke and Bullet secure 2 of their own. It's all going to be down to Valvarez, who gets eliminated by the collapse of Bullet. He does get the defuse plant, but it's not enough. Okay, so what basically happened there? It's very simple. You don't clear out the roamers, and you're going to get collapsed upon. They didn't even put up a wall to prevent the roamers from retaking as soon as they went for the push. So the instant that those smokes went down, Candles went down, and the push came in, it was very simply called from BRK, hey guys, they're going to push, they're going to try and plant, start retaking, and that's exactly what happened. Bullet from behind, putting in a lot of work for his team yet again, and now 4-1.
And BRK obviously feeling comfortable enough, they will bring a blitz in on behalf of Zig, and paired with a Glaz that actually might not be that unconventional a strategy. Just right now, they have 6 smokes available to them, as well as a bevy of flashes. You have 2 or 3 from Ash, rather, and then, of course, the Candelas as well from Ying. So essentially what this allows you to do is, knowing that they're likely going to go downstairs, which Encore will, and this is a point I'm gonna take issue with. You're Encore, you haven't fared so well in the basement. Why are you still going there over and over again?
Try something else.
Try something else. You're down 4-1 at this point. You might as well try something. This is, of course, BRK's map. It is expected that they would perform as well as they are, and perform well they are. So,
yeah.
so at this point, I think it's one of those scenarios where you really don't have that much to lose. You can go downstairs for the 3rd time and see if it's going to be successful. Times 1 and 2, not so much. So maybe go for a kitchen dining hall and catch them off guard. You never know.
The worrisome thing for me isn't necessarily that BRK is playing super well. It's honestly that Encore is kind of skipping steps, really basic steps. And we're talking about Oregon here, guys. This is Oregon, one of the most played maps in the entire Pro League. BRK going to be going for a construction tunnel rush. Looks like they're just going to be ignoring the roam game pretty much entirely. You could be challenging from the tower, though. So iBlacks might see a little bit of a fight here. But yeah, this is Oregon, one of the most played maps in the entire Pro League for every region. And usually you'll see some pretty refined strategy here. But Encore's, again, they're skipping a couple steps. However, this round is looking pretty good for them as they take out Bullet and Zig on that construction tunnel rush. This might be the start of their comeback.
You can see they're poised and ready to bring the fight to BRK as well. And that's one thing, too, is that how upfront Encore is being. I think they've learned that their passive ability to stop BRK has not really worked. First frag for BRK going to Nesk. And they are desperately trying to work away at getting rid of the Ella. But I don't think they know where iBlacks is situated. Now, one eliminating Panico is going to put us at an even 3v3 in what is match point, round number 6. And you can see he's just waiting for Valve to peek around that shelving unit. He'll be able to get the smoke pretty quickly. And he can see him, that orange or yellow glow, rather, through that container. Though Sexy Cake will take Nesk down, it's just the Candelas of Ying and the thermal scope of Glaz left to flush out the enemy. A nice C4, and wow, gets him. Down goes 1, and that's just going to leave Yuke 3v1. It's going to get pressured from iBlacks, the Ella, who he wasn't able to get rid of, and still some life left in Encore, as it's 4-2, but still, we remain on match point now as BRK moves to defense.
So we critiqued them for going down to the basement again, but it actually worked out for them this time because BRK committed to kind of a foolhardy strategy of rushing the construction tunnel. It was quickly thwarted by a simple C4 and then some subsequent hold kills as the adjustment came out from Encore. Once they know a rush is coming, it's really easy to stop. Even if you have a blitz to try and like help you with some pushing power, it's really not enough. Now, like you said, a little bit of life being shown from Encore, and that's very important again on BRK's map pick, that they at least put up a fight. And we are going to be seeing a Capcan coming out from BRK. Now, a lot has been discussed about Capcan's validity in the Pro League, and I think with this new change to him being 2 armor, 2 speed, and then the 5 traps that do anywhere from 40 to 60 damage, then he is actually very much more useful, but not really utility-wise. He just kind of, hey, you know, slows down the attack, and maybe it'll get you a little bit of random damage for no particular reason. I mean, it's always nice to go into an engagement and only have to shoot someone once or twice rather than 3 or 4 times.
Great for padding assists, of course.
Yep.
Also, cannot understate how important it is as a Capcan to slow down the attackers. Now, there is, of course, numerous ways for you to use your traps to the advantage of the defenders. A good way to do that is to put them on main doorways where people will enter. It makes them have to take a little bit extra time. You can see one is already down and will get picked up as an early cheeky encounter with Encore does not pay off, but will manage to get at least put to 50%. And that was a bit of a travel that we just had there with that ADS. But back to Capcan very quickly. Those traps, very effective at slowing you down. Now, of course, you do see that there is a twitch for Sexy Cake, which means that they can take the Capcan traps out relatively easily. But you can just see on the door right there, there's a Capcan trap, and even Panico will now need to eliminate it. And that's something where if you're careless, yeah, it takes 40 to 60 of your life away. That can mean all the difference in a gunfight.
So I think we just saw a mirror window being opened up by Sexy Cake. That's Zig's mirror window inside of the kitchen, although I can't quite tell from this angle. And if that's the case, that is going to aid Encore quite a lot in their roam clear. They do have a lot of roamers to deal with, however. As you can tell, BRK really heavily invested in, well, not being on the bomb site. So with Encore trying to counteract this by clearing out said roamers, it's going to be a risky biz. Instead of just addressing the bomb site full frontal, they will have to take each of these fights and store. Wow, what a shot from iBlack's. Absolutely dominating bullet there in that engagement. He will be putting a lot of damage onto Zig as well. So already a pretty efficient roam clear. And the Ash Charge is actually going to kill Zig through the wall. What a coincidence. I don't think that was intentional from iBlack's, but it worked out great for him. He's got to be feeling pretty happy right now.
And you can tell that a little bit of laughter between those teams, too. I don't think either of them were anticipating it, and a good show of spirit between them. You've still got 3 defenders left, but every single attacker, and Encore is looking like they have found at least something to make their team work better than they have the previous 6 rounds. iBlack's is going to sustain some damage on those white stairs amidst the razor wire, but is not going to lose his full life. Another beautiful shot from iBlack's. That's his 2nd great kill on this round. Technically 3rd if you factor in the Ash Charge, but his run might come to an end as the patient Uke sneaks up behind him, but just missing out of sight of those 2 attacking operators. Will spy Valvarez, and down he goes. Sees iBlack's, can't do it. iBlack's, a great round, and he's going to be able to get that kill. And that's all she wrote. What a round for them.
That was either a 4K or an ace from iBlack's, but either way, a very impressive round. You really got to hand it to him there.
I didn't know, I didn't see if it was an ace. Sometimes it's hard to tell amidst the flurry in the top right-hand corner as to who got those kills, but it's certainly, I know that he got 4 at minimum.
4 at minimum, absolutely.
And it was just a great round overall for him.
We also have to hand a little bit of credit just overall for this map. It's pretty far in now, and it has very clearly been iBlack's with the shovel, and he's just digging his team out of this ditch right now. Pretty much single-handedly, just tearing apart BRK by himself. And if it weren't for the kills that he's been getting, I think this would have been like a 5-1 at this point, and we would have been moving on to map number 2. So lots of credit where credit's due there.
I feel slightly vindicated at the start when I mentioned that, you know, he might not be top fragging, but he has been very important and has carried his teams. And look at that, 12 kills right now. Which is,
we see you, iBlack's. We see you.
I'm going to hesitate to say that I don't believe it was an ace because that would have put him at 7 kills before. And if I remember correctly, I think he was at 8.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Our apologies if we did miss that. But like we said, sometimes in the top right-hand corner, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell from time to time. Now, of course, he has been doing an impressive job and has also been playing entry, which I like very much. You know, he didn't always fulfill the entry role previously for his team, but now today he is, and doing so with great...
prowess.
panache. Could we say panache?
Panache is a good word.
Prowess is good as well. I like both of them. We can use either. But regardless, doing almost a masterful single-handed job in keeping his team afloat, and is the only reason I would wager that 2 of those rounds have been won. And now, still on match point, looking for BRK to close this out. Can they do it now on attack? 2 rounds in a row that Encore have been able to string together.
Yeah, and I mean, it has been a pretty amazing reawakening from Encore. Now, they are going to have to defend the top floor. They have not done this yet, so nobody really knows what's going to be happening here. BRK will have to execute a totally new strategy, and Encore is going to have to deal with stuff they've not read. So all of that comeback that they were showing us earlier in this match could be for nothing if they don't have a good read on this. And it looks like BRK going to actually take out Valvarez as he peeks outside from the bottom of the white stairs. Too aggressive, I would wager in that situation. It's likely he saw the Glaz on one of the Valkyrie cams, but we're talking about a Smoke, guys. Smoke is one of the most important defenders in the latter half of the round, and we're not even there yet.
And I'm surprised that he got as, I guess, confrontational as he did.
Yeah.
Because he was punished by a number of BRK members. And one, of course, did get taken down to half now. He did need to get picked back up. Wow, what a shot from Bullet as he team kills. And that is just an unfortunate series of events looking to try and take iBlacks, and it appears that for a moment that our live stream is offline. So we will come back to us for a second here as we are having some technical difficulties. Good to see everybody. We'll get that back up in just a moment. No idea how long it will take, but good showing so far, and Encore still going strong. The one thing, too, is that this match is still being played. It's just that the live stream at the moment of the game itself is not responsive. So, hopefully, if BRK pulls through, we're able to see it. But it does look like it's back up, so we should be able to go back in now. Just a quick refresher. It should just take us a moment here, and then you can see what could be the conclusion of BRK versus Encore.
22 seconds left to go. 1 versus 1. Sexy Cake going to be trying to deny this defuse plant, but Zig's going to get it down successfully inside of Generator. Will he be dead? No! Sexy Cake missing the shot onto Zig. Zig's going to be able to play this safely now. He has the HP advantage and the position advantage as well as the diffuser planted. All the pressure now on Sexy Cake without his C4. Has to take a direct fight. Going to attempt to fake it out. Zig not taking the bait just yet. Going for the pre-fires, expecting the aggression. Sexy Cake is sticking it. Zig going to go for a peek, and he will hit the shot. That will be BRK finishing things up, I believe, with a 5-3 scoreline, pushing us on to Skyscraper.
And they survive a scare there. So a good play by BRK. I'm glad that we were able to get back in time for you to see that they were able to win that one. And as well as iBlacks played, not enough.
Yeah.
So with that said, BRK is going to win by a score of 5-3. We will go to Skyscraper in just a couple moments. Look at that scoreboard.
13 kills from iBlacks. That means that after we lost connection, he did manage to get another kill on that round. It just wasn't enough. You know, if he had gotten maybe 2 or 3 or maybe like an ace, if he had gotten an ace that round, we would have seen overtime, but just didn't happen, not to be, I guess.
No, and we do have some highlights to show you now from what you just saw previously. A great bout of action here, and the one thing too is I always hate missing an ace. If it was, then we'll see it here in the highlights. But that first round, I think, really set the tempo for BRK. That was a round that I argue that they shouldn't have won. I thought Encore was in strong position to capitalize, and at that point, potentially knock the former LAN team on their heels. Because of that, I think that Encore had to struggle to play catch-up. They started to, weren't able to fully pull through, and you could see that it was a valiant effort from everybody, and just I still question that sledge pick and wonder if that round had gone a different way.
I mean, it's a little one thing, right? I'm not even that upset about the sledge pick, to be completely honest with you. I mean, yes, utility-wise and technically, it's not the right call. But at the same time, I think the more important thing is that he walked into main lobby by himself without any teammates joining for him and just died. That I think to me means a lot more than just his pick in general.
And crouch walking at that too. It wasn't a confident, I'm going to try to take a fight here. It was a, I'm a sneaky sneaker.
I wonder if there's anyone roaming in main lobby sort of deal. I mean, it's sometimes we all make these mistakes. It happens, but it is kind of unfortunate to see. And this is that round from iBlacks who put in that. There's 1, there's 2. And there's 3, and I think it was a 4K because I think Valvarez killed somebody else.
I mean, we'll never know.
Yeah, it was I'm pretty sure it was Valvarez killing somebody else. Yeah, I remember the Habana icon popping up. But yes, either way, that was the first map, and we will be going on to Skyscraper in a moment's time, map number 2.
For Skyscraper, it's Encore's pick. You would assume that they're going to try to do something to knock BRK off their stride. Now, if I'm BRK, you saw that those 2 rounds that they did lose, they, of course, went with a blitz pick, which is something that they don't usually do. They went with a Capkin, which we haven't seen them do before as well. Could have just been them having a little bit of fun at the expense of those 2 rounds, knowing that they were up 4-1. For Skyscraper, are we going to see something similar, or do you think that BRK is going to do their best to close this out, of course, and take that 3rd seed heading into next season?
I think that after the attempt at a comeback that we just saw from Encore, BRK is going to have to take them much more seriously moving forward onto Skyscraper, Encore's own map pick, especially if Encore actually has something up their sleeve here to show us something that maybe BRK is not ready for. Now, the one thing about all that is BRK is notorious for being the sort of team that practices on the oddball maps, so I don't know if there's much Encore is going to be able to show that'll like catch BRK off guard.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but when BRK first played on Coastline in the Pro League, they had some pretty amazing strategies that showed that caught a lot of people off guard, and actually haven't been repeated since. The only other team that's employed those BRK strategies was Flipside from North America, but yeah, on Skyscraper, I think this is going to be a pretty evenly matched map, as opposed to Oregon, which I think was slanted a little bit in favor of BRK just because of that overall experience.
Yeah, I'm excited because we don't always get to see a Skyscraper. We haven't seen it a lot at all in Latin America by any stretch either.
Nope.
So it's something that we're going to see a performance today from 2 teams that have not played before on a map that we haven't seen a lot of. It's going to give us a good show, and we're just going to be loading in just a moment here, just waiting on one player to do so. It's unfortunate for BRK because they didn't make it to LAN, but at least they have the opportunity to get a 3rd and 4th seed here. If you're Encore, what are your expectations this season? Because they were a team that, no disrespect to them, they were never really in the active conversation of a team that people expected to go to LAN this season, but now here they are sitting potentially vying for the 3rd place spot.
I mean, nobody thought that Infamy was going to LAN either,
Fair point.
arguably. So, yeah, no, but you're totally right. I mean, they are definitely, again, they're the underdog in this matchup, and then you have to acknowledge that. But we'll get into that conversation in just a bit. We're going to be loading into Skyscraper map number 2, Encore starting on attack, BRK starting on defense, and it will, of course, be the karaoke top floor defense first. But yeah, I would say that Encore's expectations have probably been met for this season, making it as far as, if not 3rd place, then 4th place at the least. That's a pretty good run for being as fresh a team as they.
Absolutely. It's disappointing that we can't see 12 teams go, because it would be nice to have one of these teams get rewarded with a spot at LAN, because I think they both played really well this season. But at the same time, it's always a game of expectations, and when you're not a newer organization, but a team that has a new addition in Sexy Cake, it's something where you want to see them do well, because there's always the potential to improve upon your mistakes, and who knows, maybe they could be one of the teams next season as well to represent them as well. There's, of course, the qualifiers, the regional qualifiers for the Invitational too, and there's an opportunity in these games for 3rd and 4th place for teams to be able to test their mettle against opponents they will likely be seeing in a couple months' time to try to get an option to go to Montreal in February.
Yeah, you got to wonder if there's like a lot of strategies that aren't even going to be employed by either of these 2 squads as well in this match, because ultimately it's not all that meaningful at all. It has to do with seeding. So if they can save their map selection, if they can save their newer strategies for the next time when they have those regional qualifiers, that would probably be the wise call. However, I don't see that as likely. Both of these teams have been playing pretty fierce.
Also, let's keep in mind, though, too, that there will be 3 new operators at minimum before the Invitational. We will see the 2 South Korean operators as well as the Polish attack operator added over the next month or so.
Right, so that's going to be that's going to impact the meta. Let's just say that very simply. It's going to impact the meta quite a lot. 3 new operators will always do that. But we'll see what teams are capable of adapting to that later. Now, starting on the first round of Skyscraper, you're seeing this top floor defense, and we have a BRK going for setting up Geisha as a bit of a murder box, but a pseudo murder box, as they also have somebody, I believe, playing inside of Geisha. So an odd selection there from BRK. Actually, he's fallen off.
It's smart for Zig as well. He does have the positions noted of the opposition. He's going to try to pick away at a Blackbeard, but it's very difficult for him to do so. He has that rotational behind him where he can dive down to the back stairs too if need be, but at the moment, hard to get him off of his spot. Like a rock, he will sit there and wait, and you can see that it's going to take some work to get him out. They've burned half of the time before being able to get themselves into Geisha now. A good play by Sexy Cake almost gets Zig, but he gets away with roughly half of his health. First frag goes to the Valkyrie, a Bullet. Iblax is down. A nice C4 from Bullet. That's his second as Valve gets a kill onto Nest, and now a kill onto one from Sexy Cake. Add to that, this is an absolute flurry. Panico takes 2 down onto Zig and Yuke, and it's just Bullet left, who will need to clutch ace this round, but his run ends. Panico finishing off with a 3K as Bullet goes down, and Encore proving that this was a smart pick for them, up 1-0.
What a tremendous rumble there between these two teams. BRK kind of just being forced out of their positions very easily, I have to say, with almost no contention from BRK. Kind of caught me off guard. I mean, we saw Bullet doing some great work for his team, especially from below, but it just was not enough. I would have expected to see the pulse downstairs as well, because you could double up on the C4 and the kill potential, the indirect kill potential that way, as well as your information game is much more efficient. Yes, I like having the pulse inside of the karaoke room, but he can gather that same information on those players in the balcony from just downstairs. He doesn't have to be in karaoke. So kind of, I would say, a misposition there. Maybe put the dock inside of B. Whatever the case be, because BRK was forced out of the position so easily from Encore, I mean, it was kind of full control established within the span of 20 seconds.
It was a very good showing there for them, and I think what it really hinged on was the little amount of pressure they were able to put inside of karaoke. Once they got Zig out of there, it was very easy for them to have that entry point and get in and establish control upstairs, especially with Geisha as well.
You know, the funny thing is they didn't even get Zig out of there. Zig volunteered to get out of there.
Well, he had a Blackbeard charging at him.
Right, but you know, most people in that situation would be like, oh, let's C4 him or let's fight. I mean, he doesn't even know that the Blackbeard's charging at him. He can't be, of course, he can't know that the Blackbeard's going to vault in before he does vault in. So it's a big question mark what actually happened there with Zig. If he's going to be playing, I mean, I like the idea. Oh, early kill in the round. You taking out one of the players that was on the roam downstairs. That's Iblax, of course, the performer
it's his
for
second
Encore.
Early death as well this time on Skyscraper, which...
Don't want that.
You don't want that. When you're dropping 13 kills in one map, you want to stay alive as much as possible.
Yeah. And the mirror window will be taken down by the Twitch drone. Good job there to Bullet. So it's already looking pretty good for BRK in this round. But yeah, you really got to question with the play that happened with that pulse inside Geisha.
Now let's focus on Sexy Black, or sorry, Sexy Cake, not Sexy Black. I mean, I guess if they merge, that would probably be their joint.
That'd be like the ultimate player.
That would be the ultimate player. Then
yeah.
you'd have room to add another player as well. It would be really beneficial.
Pretty
but
crazy.
Frost on this particular site is not that odd. We've seen her played a couple times. Give us a second here before the action starts. Why is Frost important on this section? Why do we see her used on this site more than anywhere else?
Well, of course, on this particular bomb site, you have a lot of windows that need to be vaulted through, and while, yes, of course, you're not likely to actually get anyone with those frost traps, you will at least force them to look down. A nice headshot there from Nesk onto No Way. That is Vision going down pretty early in this engagement. Still half the round, and Valvarez is going to fight back, taking out Nest before Bullet gets his own headshot onto Valvarez. Now 2 versus 4. The defenders looking like they're putting up a little bit more of a fight, but now all down to Sexy Cake as Panico gets eliminated by Bullet elsewhere. Sexy Cake not at the great position to actually win this round, and as he drops down onto the north stairwell, he's going to take out Yuke as he comes back up into the hallway. The bear trap has downed one of the other players, so it's a 1 versus 2. Bullet challenging from the hole in the wall. That was Amira, and he will win that fight. A nice attempt there from the Frost. Almost brought it back.
It was close, but I think that one of the disadvantages of having Frost is how slow the rate of fire is on her gun. It's going to be tough, especially when you're trying to outpeak the FAMAS.
Yeah, no, the FAMAS is definitely going to out DPS you.
It's going to out DPS almost everything.
Almost. Actually, yeah, it's I think the highest DPS apart from the SMG-11 if we're not counting shotguns.
The Vector's up there as well.
Yeah, the Vector's pretty high up there, but I'm pretty sure the FAMAS is like number 2. Whatever the case,
we need to crunch the numbers.
100% it is top 3, the F2. It's pretty far up there. Either way, yeah, the 9mm from Frost really does not come anywhere close. It is a headshot machine, though. I mean,
Yes,
if you
of
can
course.
headline, it's a really good gun.
And a satisfying sound as well. I gotta say, it's probably one of the nicest sounding guns. That
Yeah.
slow and steady thudding that it has it's really nice on the ears.
Yeah, I personally play Frost a lot just because I like using her gun. It's like thud, 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 thud. And it does feel like I'm forced to aim for the head, which, you know, it's good training, good practice, muscle memory, you know?
Frost does not see a ton of play at this level because it's very easy for teams to spot where where the mats are and all that jazz. However, it's still very satisfying if you're playing something that's not Pro League to get a nice bear trap kill. And one thing too, it also can be used really well. We've seen it on Chalet a lot. She gets played especially on Kitchen Trophy every now and then. Throw one or two under that trophy window. Why? Because even then, if you've got somebody holed up in there, yeah, they're going to vault over the window and they're going to aim and shoot the Frost Trap, but while they're doing that, it's very easy for you to secure that kill.
Yep, so Bullet going to be going for some Valkyrie cams outside. Maybe a C4? Nope, just going to fall off of it. Although that is a very useful camera, we'll gather a lot of information for his team, of course. Now, we're going to have Zig playing inside Karaoke. Again, I got to really wonder about this pulse. Because, all right, it is definitely not the worst thing in the world to put a pulse inside of Karaoke. But the way that Zig was playing it last time he was inside there was so not even really holding it. And as he fell back to go downstairs, I'm guessing his intention was to C4 from below. But why not then just simply play down below is the big question for me. Because Bullet last time was able to successfully solo roam downstairs and put in a lot of work for his team. But again, the indirect potential of a pulse downstairs on this bomb site is oh so crucial, and it looks like he will be doing that this time, just playing a little bit more fluid downstairs, and this makes a lot of sense. And again, here you go, he can gather that same information without exposing himself to the B window.
And I don't know if they know, but out comes the C4.
No.
He activates it a little too early and isn't able to get anything. It doesn't even look like it takes a fraction of the health away from any members of the attacking Encore team. But they still just wait patiently, and they have definitely done a good job of holding off an attack inside, though a rare misplay from Bullet as he peeks around that corner and right into the shield of a Blackbeard, and down he falls, leaving us in favor at the moment of Encore by 1.
So I'm a little bit confused here right now from BRK because Bullet last time was roaming downstairs. Oh, Zig, some aggressive play will take out 2 of the attackers as they attempt to vault inside the A bomb site, and now it's Panico left to challenge him by himself. Meanwhile, iBlacks and No Way are downstairs looking for their own fight.
Excellent play by Zig there to get 2 very quick kills, especially on high-priority targets. You've lost your Hibana and your Blackbeard. Of course, with the Blackbeard inside, not as vital as being able to use that shield to his advantage on the window. But now iBlacks is going to come in. He's going to get a couple shots away. Panico is going to pop up, and it's going to be a joint effort between him and Nesk, and he will fall. That's Nesk getting the kill. So Panico, or Zig rather, despite having 2 really good kills, Zig is only going to get 2 this time and get taken down by Vision, who has very little health before Nesk finishes off, and 3 for Nesk on the round as he wraps things up. And BRK now up 2-1 and only 3 rounds away from clearing things out and taking it.
Yeah, a great round there from BRK and a successful defense finally from both of these teams. Now the mold will be broken slightly. Encore going to have the option to go to either of the bomb sites. Still though, will they go back up to Karaoke now? We saw them on Oregon continue to defend the basement over and over and over again, and it looks like they're going to try for the same thing. Just do what they can with what they have, and it makes a lot of sense that Encore is going to try to force this out. But it's a big question mark because, again, we have 3 maps in this series, and this is Encore's pick. If Encore is unsuccessful here, we're going to be out with a 2-0 since BRK won that first map, and if they are successful here, we're going to be going to Clubhouse. Now, a big question for me is if we get to Clubhouse, what will Encore have to show us there? Because that is such an out of the meta map right now, especially in the Latin American region. And I feel as if Encore is going to be caught a little bit off guard if we get there.
I think Encore's looked at its best when it's played a very aggressive offsite role. I think that when we have a Rook with a P90, I am all shades of confused at the moment.
I share your confusion, so that's all right.
But anyway, what I was going to say is I think Encore has played their best. I think it's pretty definitive that they have looked their strongest when playing aggressively off-site. Keep 2 people on site, have the rest of the 3 roam, play very upfront and catch BRK off before they can get in. Clubhouse is one of those, very few maps where that doesn't really work. It doesn't suit the play style of the matchup that much unless you're going to spam something like bar and stockroom, or maybe even go upstairs to master bedroom, or should we see it, a cash room. But if you're going to be playing downstairs, the roaming of any defensive teams when you're playing down in Church and Arsenal on Clubhouse, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not a strat you can seriously employ. We saw, I think it was Continuum do it yesterday, but it wasn't all that effective. It worked out, but yeah, it's debatable as to the why. Now, in this matchup, again, the pressure is still on Encore to win, even on Skyscraper first, because it is right now 2-1 in favor of BRK, and they've been looking like they're having a pretty dominant performance. Especially, it seems like Nesk has woken up a little bit here in this map and has been performing very well so far. But now, Encore, again, defending their #1 bomb site, and BRK going to be attacking. They haven't cleared out the roam game successfully. You could see iBlax there was all the way on the east side of the building looking for the potential flank, and it doesn't look like BRK is even watching for it right now. Sexy Kick going to go down as Nesk pushes his way inside, though. Nesk will miss the shot onto Panico, and No Way is here to help him out. But no, the headshot from Nesk is going to result in a swift double kill in the attacker's favor, and a triple kill for Nesk. Meanwhile, Bullet getting one for his own, and it's all down to Valvarez as he finally finishes off the rampaging Nesk, denying that ace, and getting another kill onto the Zig Sledge before being finally eliminated by Bullet coming from the hallway. So, Nesk kind of walked in and killed 4 people, and okay, yeah, that's it.
All right, great post-mortem on that round. Not really much else to delve into there. They literally just let them walk right into the site, and this is something that I'm confused, and I touched upon it moments ago, is that Encore plays their best when they play really aggressively. They were positioned to play aggressively just then, but they didn't. And
they just kind of lingered.
They just waited. And they waited for the push, and it happened. And one of the biggest things that I have noticed so far, and I'm sure the people watching have noticed as well, is that BRK is just simply winning their gunfights with greater consistency. And that's another thing, too, is that even the strategies that may be working for one team or the other, it's really coming down to pure mechanical skill, and in this case, BRK is proving to be better in that regard. They're winning their gunfights, and they're getting away with a lot of shots that they really necessarily shouldn't be getting away with, but are because they can make them consistently.
You know what really actually bugs me was when we had, I believe it was Vision and Panico inside of Geisha. I could be mistaken about the exact players, but the Bandit and the Mira inside of Geisha, and one challenges by themselves, and the other one behind the soft wall decides not to peek to attempt to refrag. They're playing really scared right now. That is just super telling of Encore being, oh gosh, we can't lose this. We have to stay alive, or defense. No, it's really unfortunate to see. And you're right. On that last round, it was a simple case of Nesk being allowed to waltz in through the main hallway. The main hallway, guys. There was nothing in place, not barbed wire, nor was there a gun pointed in the general direction of the main hallway. He walked in, killed Sexy Cake, walked into Geisha, killed 2 players there, and then waltzed back out to kill the A-bomb site player. It was a very simple process because none of them engaged Nesk together, and again, the utility was not placed to delay his push. So it's disheartening, I think, in a word, to see. But that's that round, and now we are moving on to the next. Encore will be on attack. As you can see, Panico going to be eliminated very quickly by Nesk, who again seems to be on a rampage for this map. I guess he really likes Skyscraper because he's having a blast. And the fire from Encore that we saw on their comeback inside of Oregon seems to be dimming somewhat.
Right, and this has been a very good performance from BRK. The fact that they can just waltz up and pick off a Glaz who is holding an angle steadily.
Oh, look, Nesk.
And now Esk is going to get one onto Sexy Cake as well.
So yeah, Nesk, again, having a great time right now.
And Bullet, there's almost nothing that Encore can do. One is going to get on the action. 90 seconds in, and it's just Vision left, who is very far away from the site. And just being torn to shreds, though, Nesk, to shreds, you say. Down goes Nesk.
So you gotta, so you guys can see the perspective that Vision's gotta be feeling right now. He's like, guys, guys? What's going on? Where is
team?
everybody? They're just getting torn apart while he's playing on one window, and then it's all down to him in 1 versus 5. That is not a fun round there for BRK. It was a very fun round for BRK. Not a great round for Encore though. And now 4-1 match point. It's going to be on Encore's map pick.
Is this the first time that we've seen a Montaigne in Latin America?
I want to say yes, but I
want to
also
say yes as well.
I can't say definitively because I don't know. I don't really know.
You juked us, and now we have a Ying coming in instead. I kind of wanted to see the mountain emerge, but no, a flatter landscape for all of us. Encore in what is match point 4-1. This has been a more decisive match thus far than Oregon, which was actually BRK's match.
Yeah, I think after losing on the first map, Encore, they definitely lost a lot of their, well, that panache you were talking about, and it is going to be a 0 frag situation for the otherwise top fragger of Encore in iBlacks. He had 13 kills, guys, on a loss just the previous map, so I think it's safe to say that's what's going on here, and maybe why Encore has yet to kind of show up in this map.
I don't necessarily you can pin it all on iBlacks. I think.
Well, of course you can't put it all on iBlacks,
right.
But the team as a whole, they were putting up a fight when iBlacks was, and now it just doesn't seem to be happening.
He was taking a lot of the pressure off by getting those kills that
Yeah.
were needed and allowing the rest of the team to maneuver and have that space to do so. Now, when you've got 1 or 2 people dropping very little kills, it makes it very difficult because it relies on the rest of the team overperforming and shouldering more of their load, especially when you look at a game like this where it's not really a game that you want somebody to be able to beast mode around. It's not like any, other first-person shooter where one person should be able to take it all on their own, and Zig is going to get lead-off kill, and there are only 4 operators left for Encore to hold this together, or else it's game over, and BRK wins by a score of 2-0.
iBlacks going to get his first kill of this map onto Bullet. That is a very important impact frag, but there is going to be a swift refrag from Nesk, who is just, again, stepping up in this map. So now going to be a 3-on-4 with plenty of time for the attackers to single out all of these defenders slowly. Encore going to likely push themselves all the way back into the bomb site. They have Geisha A and B control, so they don't have to stress themselves too terribly. They have all the crossfires they could need. However, it's going to come a lot down to individual engagements, considering the defenders will not have much refrag potential as they are sparsely spread out. One going to be lit up by Sexy Cake, but amazingly, Sexy Cake not going to win that fight. One going to come out on top. And so their perplexion on the P90 pick kind of showing why we might be kind of confused as to why he would pick that gun. And I think that's why, basically. It's just, it doesn't do a lot of damage, guys.
If he had to run the MP there, I think he would have won.
He would have got the kill.
Number 1. And number 2, I'm still really confused as to why they're even running a Rook in the first place. Echo is an operator that's seen a lot of play, even Doc here. Now, Vision's going to get a kill on a Nesk, though. That was a really nice shot into Drum. And that is the SMG-11 tearing through them as there's a refrag from Uke, and then Valvarez gets the refrag there. So trading, and now it's all up to the Legion to hold things tight. Down is Zig, but one is going to get him back to life, and you can see there isn't much health between the 2 of them. But if they set up a nice crossfire, even if they do trade, it's still in favor of BRK. Final 40 seconds on what could be our final round on Skyscraper. This is, of course, Encore's matchup. Around the corner, Valve is going to peek. He knows that Zig is there. That's a nice kill from him. But you can see that one is going to situate himself on the window. That rifle shield will give him some help, but not too much. We'll look to flash out the Legion and blind him. And you can see totally blind. He'll get in. He'll hit the Legion. Will Valve get it? He will. He pops up. One goes down completely blind. A great shot. And Encore will stay alive, but match point we are still on, 4-2.
So, that last round, oh boy, the roam game was cleared out so efficiently from BRK. It looked like they had it in the bag again, but the one difference, we were talking about impact frags, is that iBlacks on his East roam game actually managed to get a kill this time. Because of that kill, it allowed the rest of his team at least some form of maneuverability leading into the latter half of the round. You got to give a lot of praise to Valvarez specifically winning out that round, but ultimately it was a team effort from Encore, and it's good to see the rest of the team showing up and allowing them to at least somewhat hold on to this series. Now, however, BRK defending the top 4, they got to be feeling pretty comfortable here. They have yet to really even stumble on this top 4 defense. It's been pretty good for them. They did, of course, lose that 1 round, but still, they've been having a good show on that top 4 defense.
Yeah, look at Nesk, 10 kills at the moment. iBlack's getting 1 on the board, so now everybody has contributed in some way, shape, or form, but Encore is going to need more work out of him at the moment if they want to be able to make this closer.
You know, the worrisome thing for me for iBlacks is that he's been... Basically, the roles that he's been fulfilling for his team are very much far away from everybody else on attack and defense both.
Right.
For example, on defense, you saw him. He was roaming on the east side, and every other time he roamed on the east side, he got pincered by the BRK roam clear, and that's pretty normal. BRK is great at their roam clear. And again, the only round they managed to win on that defense was just when iBlacks got that single kill before being eliminated. So I would say if we see iBlacks consolidate a little bit next time, if they get to another defense round, we could see an absolute, pretty easily a comeback here from Encore. However, they have to win this attack before that could even be possible.
Which is not a foregone conclusion. They won their
Right.
very first attack. If you remember correctly, they went up by a score of 1-0 at the very onset.
It's a good round.
Since then, it was a very good round, but since then, BRK has looked very good on defense, certainly more so than you'd expect, given the performance in round number 1. And now it's all incumbent on Encore to be able to get inside and creep towards that open hole just outside on the balcony. iBlacks will. One of the other issues, too, that's plaguing them is that you have somebody whose sole job is to get those early kills to give an advantage to your team, failing to do so. It's very similar to an Anchor not being able to clutch things out or not get off, smokes or yokais effectively. If you've got one person whose sole job is to get kills not performing that duty, that's tough.
Yeah, it really does put a lot of pressure on the rest of your players, especially in that instance, the anchors, when it comes down to the actual site push. But all that aside, BRK now losing a player early on in this round. iBlacks from below going to take out one with a very well-placed nade. That's some good read there from him. He's showing up now on attack. That's his first attacking kill. And it is going to put a little bit more pressure on BRK now as they have lost Geisha control. We do have Zig downstairs, ready and primed to C4 to deny the defuse plant inside of Karaoke, and the rest of the defenders positioning themselves wide for a retake. Zig going to be eliminated out downstairs. That means no C4, and you are going to lose Panico as well. Sexy Cake going to finish off Yuke before Bullet does get the refrag. iBlacks, again, a very good round from him, going to take out Bullet before Nesk gets the refrag, and it's now a 1-on-2. Nesk looking like he could get this retake, but it's a lot of pressure onto one guy. No way outside on the balcony. It's not even going to come down to that. Sexy Cake inside of the bomb site will secure the headshot, eliminating Nesk. So effectively defanging the diffuser, or the roam game downstairs, denying that C4 from below, and then simply walking in for a plant on Karaoke because there's no contention at all.
Very similar to round number 1.
Yeah, it was identical.
It was an almost identical move. Was they basically cleared out that Karaoke. They were able to push in. They cordoned off the sections, made sure that nobody was able to get back on site and retake it, which is always a interesting proposition for the defense. And then they got that plant down very quickly. Vision's crouching in the corner, was able to get the defuse off successfully. And at that point, all they needed to do was wait. And as the defense flocked back towards the site, they had all lines of sight set up so that they could capitalize. And that was a good play by them, a very smart read. And now we find the same scoreline, or a very similar scoreline to what we had last time around. Are we going to see BRK survive the score, or will we head to overtime on Skyscraper?
Well, only time will tell. Encore, though, have to defend the abnormal bomb site in that kitchen barbecue in order to push it to overtime. So they have yet to do this, and it is going to be kind of an X factor for them moving forward, an unknown, if you will. And I don't think that it's going to work in the favor of Encore that they're attempting something they've yet to attempt. The reason I say that is because Encore have time and time again started the comeback later in the match, and what that means is they're starting to read into how BRK does things, whether on attack or defense. In that last round, they very clearly read the defense of Karaoke as poor, and they executed an attack which picked it apart piece by piece. Now, this time they have to do something they're, again, unfamiliar with, which means BRK is going to have the spontaneity factor in their favor yet again, which has very clearly been one of, I would say, the most definitive things that has been favoring them.
You've got some advantage to BRK right now because I find that this bomb site lives or dies off of how good your strategy is to hold it. Now, Kitchen is one of the most difficult spots to hold if you are not prepared for it. It's why you see that in non-organized Pro League, Challenger League play, the site itself doesn't have as high of a success rate. Valve is going to take the fight here at the main doorway. He's going to escape with a couple digits left, but not much, and some smoke will go out just to buy him some time to prevent a push. But the Thermite of Zig is going to get lead-off kill number 1 and finish off what left was Valve, or what was left of Valve, and now you'll see that iBlacks will push up into delivery to try and keep track of where BRK is. He sees the Thermite and is now going to try to get the fight here, and what a read from iBlacks. Just as Zig goes onto his drone, he gets pushed up, but Yuke is there to make sure that it is a 1-for-1. So, with that said, BRK still does hold an advantage. One of the wild cards, you got 3 Frost Traps laying about. It could be very easy for BRK to fall into it. You can see here. A great play from Sexy Cake. He'll get 1 onto Yuke and looked for a second but could not connect. He's in Geisha right now with Bullet not too far off. Panico is as well situated just inside of T-Room. And at the moment, Bullet actually going to be in rough shape. Gets a lot of shots off, but the 9mm of Frost will win that fight, which is the opposite of what we saw earlier. So 2v3 now, with BRK only having Yuke and 1 still upright. Could be heading towards overtime here as the rifle shield of 1 breaks and leaves the 3 defense, with C4, or rather, sorry, Sexy Cake, only having a sliver of health. And this could be a clutch here. However, 1 is going to take out Vision. And that leaves us with 40 seconds in a 2v2. Diffuser in the control of BRK. And you can see Panico getting some shots off. Positioned up here by the fallen tables in Restaurant. 1 will see him, and the up of Panico is going to do some work, but not enough, as now Yuke is going to tag in, and Panico doing an excellent job of wasting time. Final 20 seconds. Sexy Cake from above, not going to risk it. They take 1, takes Panico down, and it's just the Frost with a sliver of health. They're going to be able to get that plant off safely and wait for Sexy Cake to drop. Plant going down from Yuke. You can see Sexy Cake has hit the ground. They have spotted him a couple shots through the wall. He'll go for some gunfire here, but no, Yuke clutches things out. BRK prevails, and they are the ones who will take it by a score of 2-0. So not a disappointing finish for Encore. They'll get the 4th seed as we look to now towards Black Dragons and Font.
Yeah, and I think Black Dragons versus Font is going to be a very interesting match, but this one, the conclusion, it did seem like we were going to have Encore with a comeback there in the last part of that round. They were putting up a great fight, stalling out the push. Unfortunately, it just was not enough, and BRK very decisively made that comeback happen. Interesting thing about that round was that there was no attempt from BRK to clear the top floor.